What's up YouTube, Jay Traveling here. Today I'm going to talk about these 12 GPU mining frame brackets that I designed specific to the Sluice V2 style frame from AAAwave. Now this design I did create for personal use, but you guys have seen it in Red Panda's video where he stacked his frames in his basement. You know, after I printed a few of these out and had from what I thought was a completed design, I sent him a few since he sent me stuff in the past to try and help him out with organizing his mining area just to be, you know, another friendly miner. So in this video, I'm going to describe and explain the design of these and talk to you about it. Now, this was a 3-part design. So I did print this, like there's 3 parts to the design. Now I did do a test print to make sure it would fit on the frame fairly snugly. I didn't want it too tight because there could be error in the printing or on the frame side where it could just, I wanted it to be easily slide on and off. Now, after the test fitting, I did print a batch and tested stacking them and just made sure that my dimensions and stuff were right. So let's talk about the design and then obviously the reason why I wanted to create these and have them just for my use. Now, there's 3 parts to this design. There's 2 identical parts which are on the outside, which slide over top of the frame, and then the top frame will slide over top of that. But then in the middle here, I did an inch spacer. So there's an inch here that is not hollow. It's actually fully printed into it. And it doesn't fully print. If you're used to 3D printing, it kind of does like a waffle pattern. But that's to stop the frame from sitting directly on top of the other one. Now, I don't think that would be an issue, but what I would think would be an issue is wire clearance. Now, if you've seen reviews on the Dredge 2 frame that AAAwave made, a lot of people would say that there wasn't enough wire clearance. So when I designed this, I wanted to make sure I had the clearance that if my cables came off of the GPU and arced a little bit, like they normally do, then it had enough room that I'm not smushing those cables. And it looked like, especially in Red Panda's video, it had plenty of room for that, so the spacing was pretty accurate. Now, I didn't want it too spaced out because then I didn't want the frame sitting too high up. That can make it unstable. Now, my use for these is I plan on stacking two high stacks like Red Panda did inside my grow tent, but 2 stacks of it so that I can keep them lower in the tent, get more GPUs in the tent, and still have an air void at the top of the tent where the heat can sit, just so that my exhaust can pull that heat out of the tent and hopefully keep my cards a little bit cooler. I do have some other plans for the tent, which I'll go over in another video to try and keep the cards cool. I have a couple more months, I'd say, of cooler weather, being that it's mid-February, probably another good solid month and a half of decent weather where I'm not too worried about it just yet. But just being in there now, I noticed a hot pocket when my 30 series rig was, that once the temps started reaching above 80 degrees Fahrenheit inside the tent, my 3080 would drop in mega hash. So hopefully this will help because those rigs are going to be 3 GPU. And pretty much that's the design. Now, people are also asking where to get these. I have my Discord in the description below, a link to it. Now, I have the STL file in there for people to use for personal use, and also I do sell them, but I am not a 3D printing selling service, so I really would appreciate people using the file for their own use and printing their own. But if you don't, I will print them and send them to you for a fee, of course, just for my time. But that's pretty much how this is. Now, my other plans are to use these in other ways, which I'll go through in another video. It's still on the frames, but that's pretty much how I designed it and why I designed it. Now, you can see in it, it's pretty much L-shaped to fit over top, and it didn't look like it was too bad. Now, with them stacked up, I know Red Panda said he noticed a hot pocket and a fan fixed that. He also doesn't have fans on his rigs, so I do put fans on all of my rigs, whether they be up here 120 millimeters or the 120 millimeter 3000 RPM fans that I use. But they seem to not do too bad, but I don't have mine stacked yet. I actually have sent out all of my brackets I've printed so far. This one isn't a completed one. I ran out of filament during the print, so that's how I could be able to see inside of it. But I ended up sending a few sets out to a couple other friends that are miners that have mine crypto and that have the same style frames, the same AAAwave frames that wanted to stack them. So you know, you'll see some pictures and other YouTubers posting videos about these brackets. Now, I don't know. The other question I get asked is how high can you stack it? Now, stacking these frames, you do it at your own risk. I'm not responsible for anything, or if a bracket were to fail, I'm not responsible for that. These are made of plastic. It's a PLA that I print them with. If you're printing your own, use whatever material you want. They seem to be fairly stable from my personal use with them, but I haven't done full rigs. Talking with Red Panda Mining, he said his seemed very stable. A few things I would do before stacking your frames is make sure that they are level. I know I mine in my crypto mining basement where my floor isn't 100% level. It's a concrete floor in an older house. I would check the level of your rigs, because if you have a rig that's starting to teeter a little bit, you're going to put some stress on these parts and they could possibly break. And if your room is heating up, that heat will weaken the plastic slightly, not a whole lot. I only plan on going in stacks of 2. I don't plan on going any higher. I know some others are talking about going 3, even 4 high. I don't think you would have an issue with it, but like I said, I didn't test it myself. So others that may have tested it might be able to chime in once they get theirs and see how high they can stack it. As long as it's level, it shouldn't put much stress on these parts though. Another question I get asked is why I didn't put holes in it for bolts. I just don't think that it's necessary to screw it in or bolt it in. If you're going that far, you might as well just buy a metal piece at Home Depot when you get them and bolt it in that way. That would still kind of work as long as you have the rubber footing on it just to hold it steady on top. But this is just, in my opinion, a more secure way. I couldn't find anything else like it on Thingiverse other than just design my own, so that's the path I went. But you know, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this design. If I need to improve on it at all, or if you just like the way it is. Like I said, if you are interested in them, check out the Discord group in the description below. In the Documents tab, there's the STL file, and also in the AAAwave Sluice V2 stacking section, I did pin the STL file so that you can use it. But I do ask that you use it for personal use and not for resale. Once I get enough batches printed off to fulfill some back orders, I will post some on eBay for anybody that's looking to buy them. That way you can calculate shipping and price automatically for you. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.